Hello, and today we're going to be doing a drawing of a piece of Ikea furniture. So I'm on the Ikea website at the moment, and I've picked out a bookshelf, which is the Valje bookshelf, but you could pick anything really that's rectangular and has pieces of wood that you can assemble together like this. So the first thing we're doing here is just having a look at what it looks like. It's got the size here as 100 by 150, that's in centimeters, so we're talking about a meter, that's probably wide, and 150 is high. In fact, if you go down further and the product information, the width, the depth is 30 or 300 millimeters, the height is 150 centimeters or a meter and a half. We can actually download an assembly instructions, which is a PDF unit. If you click on these links, sometimes it's helpful to see a little bit more detail about the actual drawings. If I open that up, it'll see, for example, this joint. You can see on the corner there, it's a corner joint, which is a 45-degree corner joint like that, which we can choose to follow that if we want to, or we can make it a bit different. Most of this is just useless junk. But down further, we start to see a little bit more information about how the shelves are actually joined on, and it might give us some more information as we need it, even just for the shape of the foot. Okay, so let's get started drawing this. Right, so in our SketchUp model here, we're going to start with the two side walls. So we need to start with a rectangle that we can push-pull up. So we'll use R for rectangle. We'll start on the origin. Steve's going to be in the way, but that's okay. We will just make a rectangle first. The width is going to be 20 like last time, so we look down the bottom right corner here and see which one of these numbers is the small one, because we've got a small edge and a long edge. The first number is the small edge, so I want to make that 20 the first number. So 20, comma, and the depth, according to the Ikea website, was 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters. So our rectangle is 20 by 300. So that's the start of our shelf. And we're going to P for push-pull. Click on that, and we're going to push-pull that up by, well, 1.5 meters. So let's just click somewhere and type 1500. And now probably what we're going to have to do is work out how far above the ground the foot is, because the total height of the unit is 1500 minus the foot. So let's have a look here. Let's just zoom in on here and push-pull this bottom surface up, and then just have a little look and see what it looks like. That, according to my numbers down the bottom, is about 70. Let's just try 70. So we'll click somewhere, type 70, enter. So that was using the push-pull tool. Now we're going to have two of these sides that'll probably be identical. So we're going to spacebar, triple click, and make it a component, because there'll be two of them. So it's going to be called the side wall. Right, we need to have a second one of these. So we're going to make another copy across the other side. I think, Steve, you can go. You're in our way now. So basically the reason we leave Steve there is just to see if it looks about the right height. And that looks about the right height. He's probably 1.8 high, and that's 1.5. So anyway, he's done. Now let's make a copy. So we'll click on it. M for move. And I want to move it. I press the Control key to get my copy. Okay. When I'm in the move command, same as on the coffee table. And I want to move it across 1 meter. 1000 millimeters. Now the only problem with this is it's going to have moved it by 1 meter, but we're going to then have added the thickness of the material. So I'm just going to show you how you can, basically this will explain it. If I use the dimension tool, the little one with the little 3 there, and go from the outside here to the outside there, you'll see that the distance is 1020. So really what I need to do is move this back in by 20 millimeters, and then it's 1000. And according to the Ikea website, it's 1 meter wide, so we need to make sure we bring it back in by the 20. Okay, that dimension I can delete now. So that's our two side walls, and we can just check in the outliner. It comes up over here that we've got those two side walls so far. All right, back over to Explorer just to have another look and see what we've got here. Let's start with the top and the bottom. And the shelves can be pretty much the same, except I don't know if you can see here, if we zoom in on this, see how this shelf is set back in, but the top shelf is not. So they are a little bit different. Okay, so we need to make the top and the bottom the same, but then the shelves are a little bit narrower. So let's go back across to SketchUp and make the top and the bottom. So we'll just click up here, R for rectangle, and we'll go from this corner down here. Now the width is defined because we're clicking on that back edge, but the height we're not sure of. So if we come down over here, the height 300 is the same as before, but the second number is 43.1 and we want that to be 20. So because it's a second number, we type comma, so the comma is first, and then type 20, enter, and that will change just the second number. We'll pull that across to this edge, and straight away we will triple click it with the space bar, triple click it, and make it a component called the top/bottom. Okay, so that's come up in our outliner list. So we will of course need one of those at the bottom. M for move, and I want to move this bottom corner here down to, press the control key while you're in the move command, and that will bring you a copy. I want to put it down the bottom there. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. Now we're going to need to have some shelves. So actually what I'm going to do is show you a little trick of as far as how to space these out. So how many shelves have we got? 1, 2, 3 shelves in the middle. So what I can do whenever I use the move command to do something like a move, I'll just delete it and show you again. M for move, I want to move from that point, press the control key to take a copy, go to the bottom, and straight away, if I don't do anything else, I can press the, on the number pad on your keyboard above the 8 key is the divide sign. I can press divided by 4, enter. And that means it's dividing that space by 4. If I go divided by 2, it just does the 2. Divided by 10, and it does it like that. So it's made a copy of the same shelf, which in this case, we said before, it's a different shelf, so we're going to have to make it a little bit different, but at least it gets the positions for us. Okay, now just to show you the other option of this, if I said divide by 6, does that. If I use the times key, times by 3, I'll zoom out so you can see it. You can see it's made 3 copies. Times by, so that's above the 9, the little times button above the 9 key, times by 15. Okay, so you can use that to make fences and all sorts of things. But in this case, we want divided by 4. So that's how the move command can also be used to make copies that are equally spaced. In this case, they're equally spaced in between. So what I'm going to need to do here is at the moment, I don't want that many tops or bottoms. And unfortunately, I've got that. So I'm going to go back to the space key. I've got to make these 3 in the middle separate. Or what we do is we right click and go make unique. Okay, so now that I've done that, it's called them top bottom 1. It's given it a new name. So the top and the bottom is there, but these 3 are a unique bundle. So if I was to space bar, double click on one of them and push pull one of them, oopsie, wrong surface, push pull that back, see it's just changing those 3. Now how far back do you think I've got to go? Probably 20 mils. So I'm going to click there and try 20 millimeters. How does that look for the spacing? I've just got to compare it with what we've got over here. And I think it looks about the shelf. If we look at the thickness of the shelf, it looks like it's set back by about the same amount. So I'm happy with that 20 millimeters back. So that's actually the shelf finished. Oh no, we've got the uprights. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 uprights, and they should be the same height. Let's just double check that with our tape measure tool. Or actually, not the tape measure, we'll use the dimension tool. We can put some dimensions back here, click from there to there, and it's 332.5. Let's go from here to here, and it's the same. Okay, so that's good. We just want to make sure these distances are all the same. 332.5, and that one is also 332.5. So that was the benefit of using the divide command, is that it equally spaces them out. So 332.5, I think we need to make our shelves 332.5 high. So let's draw a shelf. R for rectangle. Click on one of these and draw a rectangle that goes right from the front to the back there. The thickness, again, which one is the thickness? The smaller number, which is the first one. So I want it to be 20, and it's the first number, so I'm just going to type 20, enter. That makes my thickness right. I'll P for push pull this up to there, and now I'll spacebar, triple click it, make it a component because there's 4 of them, and call it divider. Okay, so there it is up there. So looking back at the front again, we've got to now work out where we're going to put these. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick here. If I move this to the left, and then I move, we're going to delete some of these, but I'm just going to put them in temporarily. If I move it across to the right and take a copy by pressing Control key, so now I've got 2 copies. Now what I'm going to do is go divided by, what does 4 do? Okay, now that's getting me 1 there. I think that's too many. Divided by 3, enter. Okay, so now what it's doing, it's showing me where the spaces of these are. If I go back over here, it looks to me like there's 1, 2, 3 across there, and they're probably sort of evenly spaced. So all I've got to do now is move this one. If I go M for move, and what I actually want to do is move it up 2 shelves high. So rather than, I could just try this, click, press the Control key to get a copy, move up until it says, and see how I've got, if I move to the side, the dotted line goes black, but if I go to the right point there, the dotted line just below my cursor is blue, meaning it's on the blue axis, so it's going straight up, and it is snapping it to the edge of that component. So I've got 2 there. Now this one here, M for move, it's going to go down a shelf. Let's go down on the blue axis until we get to that edge. And also M for move, I have to press M for move again, and this time we're going to go from here upwards until we get to, in the blue axis, make sure you're on the blue axis, to there. And now I can just delete the first ones that I put in there, and I've got my shelves. I don't think I want those dimensions there either, so I'll select those. I drag the box from right to left and press, and just touch the dimensions and press delete. Alright, so there's our shelf. Now we need a foot. So we're going to need to go and have a look over here and see what the foot looks like. Actually, the PDF that I had before probably shows it a little bit better. We've got a little U shape and a bar in between. Now, it doesn't really matter if we don't get this perfect, but we'll just get something which looks roughly like that. So I'm thinking we might just draw a rectangle, cut out a hole, and then put a bar in between. So let's come across back to SketchUp and have a go. At the moment, I'm just going to draw it on the edge here. In fact, I'll go from the other edge on this end because I've got the origin point down here. So let's make a rectangle. Go from, let's say, this corner down to there. And now we want to draw the profile. So if I was to use the tape measure tool, and how wide do we think that is? That's about 40, 30. Let's go with 30. So click 30, enter. Let's come across here from the edge, bring it in 30. This is like we did on the dice, where you just bring in a tape measure tool. Okay, we need to add one. Sorry, I just skipped there because I accidentally made a mistake. So the last one here, I want to come down 30 from the top as well. Okay, so if something's not working like it was, then just press the space bar and the tape measure tool again. And we want to go down the blue axis. Let's just keep it simple. Go down 30 there as well. And so I'll use my line tool just to draw this section out. And once I've finished that, I'll space bar and delete this section here. And there's probably a line underneath there as well to get rid of. And so now I've got a U shape through here, which I'm going to push-pull, P for push-pull, in by, what's 20 look like? That looks okay. All right, spacebar, triple click it, and make it a component, because there's 2 of them. It's called the leg, or the foot. Foot will do. Okay, and I want to get rid of these guides as well. Edit, delete guides. Okay, so we don't be looking at those all the time. So now on the video, on the picture here, it was set in a little way. It's probably in by about the thickness of the edge, which is about 20 mils. So let's just M for move this across to there. And now we need to get one on the other end. So M for move, click on this right-hand corner and press the Control key so that we take a copy. And we want to get it over to this side, just there on that edge there. And one last thing is we need to have a rectangular frame going across the middle of this. So we're going to need to draw a rectangle based around the middle of this object, which at this stage I can't see where the middle is of